I just was rewarded with the gifts of knowing that I am whole and complete. I am exactly where I need to be. Hi friends, I hope you're having an amazing day today. Today I'm super excited to talk to you because I'm going to be talking to you about two very transformative retreats that I've gone on more recently in my life. And that is attending Rythmia Life Advancement Center and doing ayahuasca, and then attending a VIPASSANA meditation retreat in Joshua Tree in California. So both of these retreats were very transformative to me and allowed me to grow so much as a person and so much in the spirituality realm. So I wanted to share the sides of both of them, give you more information on both of them, because I know myself when I first started to consider, I was ready to go on some type of retreat or was yearning for, you know, a more spiritual experience with like-minded people. I think a video like this could have really helped me into making the choices for next steps. So let's get started. So I'm going to start this video off with a very exciting announcement, is that I am going to be attending Rythmia Life Advancement Center again this October, on October 6th. The week of October 6th, I will be there, and I am inviting any and all of you, if you would love to attend with me, I would be so grateful. So I'll leave a link down below to the week that I'm attending, and I look forward to meeting and seeing you there. It's truly something that I'm looking forward to so much, because if you follow along on my channel thus far, you know that it was quite a transformative week for me, and so much has changed since then. I've changed a lot as a person since then in just the most positive way, so I'm looking forward to the transformations once again. But yes, it's the week of October 6th this year, 2019. If you're interested in attending Rythmia Life Advancement Center with me, the link is down below. So to start off, I'll let you know when I attended both of these retreats, give you a little bit of a timeline if you weren't aware. So I attended Rythmia Life Advancement Center for 1 week in Costa Rica last October. And I attended a VIPASSANA meditation retreat in Joshua Tree from April 10th to April 21st of this year, 2019. And I had beautiful experiences at both places. I couldn't imagine taking part in such a incredible retreat, both in Costa Rica and Joshua Tree. I just couldn't imagine doing it anywhere else, because I just felt so grateful to be surrounded by such beautiful nature. So what is ayahuasca? Ayahuasca is an Amazonian plant that is used to make a very special sacred brew that you ingest and are able to have a spiritual experience. It is DMT at its truest form. And what is Vipassana? Vipassana is Buddha's meditation, which has been passed down for thousands of years. And the Vipassana meditation experience, as we know it today, if any of you have attended, is a 10-day retreat of taking a noble silence, of really getting right into the practice from the very, very core and allowing it to expand, to really ground yourself in the process of meditating for 10 days. But it is Buddha's form of meditation. I thought it would also be beneficial to tell you why I decided to take part in both of these retreats and experiences when I did. So with ayahuasca, I felt that I was called to it. What I mean by being called to it is that it kept showing up for me in different parts of my life. People were mentioning it to me. It just kept presenting itself. And then in the summertime, I was actually invited by Rythmia to attend for a week-long retreat, and I accepted. I was very curious. Like, this is what the sense of being called to ayahuasca. I felt like I was drawn to it. The opportunity presented itself for me to go, and prior to that, I had no idea that Rythmia even existed. So I took the opportunity, I accepted the synchronicity, and I then went to Rythmia. And how I got interested in Vipassana is very interesting, because while I was at Rythmia, I was speaking with a lot of like-minded people who are on the spiritual path, and I was asking, oh, have you done anything else that you would recommend in regards to spiritual journeys or taking a look within yourself? And a lot of people who were there had told me that they had previously done Vipassana once, twice, even more. That Vipassana was a very important part of their spiritual journey and their growth as a person. So I got even more curious then about Vipassana, and I felt that in itself was a sign that there was work that needed to be done in the realm of meditation. And when I left Rythmia, I had the intention that I'm going to do VIPASSANA. That is going to be on my spiritual goals list for the next year. So immediately I was looking in and I realized I want to go to VIPASSANA in Joshua Tree. That's what one of the gentlemen at Rythmia had recommended, that they attended there and they had the most beautiful experience. So I wanted to have an experience there as well. So then I signed up. So the research that I had done before attending both of these retreats, for Rythmia, like I mentioned, I was very interested in ayahuasca when it started to present itself. So I was watching YouTube videos, watching documentaries like The Reality of Truth. I read Jerry's book, Shit the Moon Said. I was very interested in what ayahuasca was. Prior to this, I had never done drugs, so I did not drugs, I say, really it's plant medicine. I never had any type of psychedelic experience, let's say. So I was very cautious, I was very hesitant. I didn't really know what I was getting myself into, but I knew that there was a reason once it was being presented to me why I felt called to it. So I did a lot of research, a lot. Like in all my free time, I was watching other people's experiences with it, trying to learn more about what it was or what I could expect from it. In the end, you will have no idea what is going to come of it, but it was beautiful for me to kind of get a sense that it was going to be very spiritual and it was going to be out of this world, let's say. And in regards to VIPASSANA, I actually didn't do any research. Besides the conversations that I had with people at Rythmia and my friend Noah, the only person that I have in my life thus far who is around me more often, who has actually done VIPASSANA, he's done it twice, I asked my questions. But in all honesty, Noah was hesitant as to how much he was going to share because it is a journey of your own self. So the journey is what it is for you. He let me know, yeah, like you're for sure sitting down for that long in a day. Yes, you only get 2 meals. He was very much speaking about the questions that I had when I was trying to visualize myself being there day to day. Now, in regards to accessibility of both of these retreats, so I did ayahuasca at Rythmia and I really enjoyed the experience there. It's the only medically licensed place to do ayahuasca in the world, and I felt very blessed to be in nature, to do something that was so connected to nature, because ayahuasca is a plant and it was delivered by the shaman, and it was just a very beautiful experience, and I don't imagine doing it, or I don't feel drawn to do it anywhere else, because that in itself just was so important to me, so part of my journey. And in regards to VIPASSANA, you can actually do VIPASSANA worldwide. They have retreats all over, so I'll leave the website for it down below because there's probably one very close to you. So in regards to prepping my body for an experience like this, I wanted to touch on this aspect because it's very important. Prior to doing ayahuasca, they definitely recommend cutting out alcohol, caffeine, just any type of substances that aren't serving you and aren't healthy. They also recommend a plant-based diet, which I already eat, so I was already in that space. I wanted to touch on this because I felt that prepping my body beforehand in regards to, like, let's say cutting out caffeine was a very important part of my ayahuasca journey. The purer you are going into that experience, the better results you're gonna have. Because think about it, if you're filling your body with clutter, with mess, with processed foods, things that don't serve you, the plant medicine is going to have to work through all of that before it can get to you. That in itself, like showing up there pure, ready, having a clean body, it allowed Mother Ayahuasca to do her work on me much faster. In regards to VIPASSANA, there was no prep that I did. I mean, I don't drink very often. I actually went out for dinner the night before VIPASSANA and I had a glass of wine. I was not off the alcohol for a long time, but post my experience at Rythmia, I actually haven't been drawn to alcohol very much. I was pretty clean going into VIPASSANA as well, but like I said, there was no serious restrictions. And while I was at VIPASSANA, I drank coffee every morning. So in regards to my headspace before attending both of these retreats, before I attended Rythmia, I was very lost, confused about where I was going in my life, and I just felt desperate for answers. So I was going into that space, not my happiest, most pleasant, peaceful, the person that I am right now. I was not that person last year before I attended Rythmia. I felt desperate, like I said, for a change, for answers. I knew I wanted to grow, I knew I had to grow, but I felt like I was being blocked in such a way that it was inaccessible to me. Because as you know, I'm always working on myself, always working through my blocks and barriers, but it was like something I couldn't see. I was digging and digging and digging, and I worked with a life coach, and I had read all these books that people were recommending to me that I thought would help me, but nothing was getting through. It was like I had something so deep in my subconscious, which I did, and so deep in my energetic ancestry line that just got totally wiped away through the ayahuasca experience. I'll leave that whole playlist down below if you want to know what each journey, each ceremony was like for me. I go into extreme detail about that. So if you're curious, it's there. But post ayahuasca, post Rythmia, I came out a completely new person. I felt like I shed all the mental noise that I had. My path was very clear to me, very clear as to what next steps were for me. I felt more spiritual than ever, and I had a pure spiritual awakening. I became aware of what I actually am and what we actually all are and what we're actually all doing here. So without getting into more details, that's down below if you're interested. Prior to going to attend the VIPASSANA retreat, I was this self. I was this mentally cleared of all the clutter that I was suffering through last year. I was just very much in a headspace of I'm entering into a new chapter. I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to the future, and I'm looking forward to working on myself. I was very excited about what the week would bring transformation-wise, that I had such a hard time being nervous or hesitant about it because I knew that it was just going to be a very positive experience, overall positive. So when I went into VIPASSANA, let's say I was in a very conscious, abundant headspace, whereas when I went into Rythmia and was doing ayahuasca, I was very lost. I was suffering. I was just in search of serious answers. Post VIPASSANA, I left even more excited about the future, even more abundant than I came in, and even more just whole and accepting of myself to the extent that I didn't know was even possible. So it was a beautiful journey of 10 days of really getting to know me and sitting with myself. And if you've watched that video, which I'll leave down below as well, I just was rewarded with the gifts of knowing that I am whole and complete. I am exactly where I need to be. And I had never felt that before to that extent, and it was just a beautiful thing. I'm still carrying that feeling, and I know that it will have lasting effects on my life. Now I quickly want to talk about the food and changes in my body pre-post both of these experiences. So Rythmia has the most incredible menu, which is designed by Chef May. She is an incredible chef, and she has just built the most abundant meals. Like, oh my gosh, I was in heaven. Okay, the food I was eating, the fruit I was eating, everything was so delicious. I left so inspired about food that I wanted to eat for the rest of my life. It was so beautiful. I couldn't imagine a better menu on a daily basis. It was just fantastic. More than enough food, more than enough options, especially for those of you who might have dietary restrictions or who are plant-based. It is heaven. I'm just gonna say it is heaven. It is the best I've ever ate in my entire life at any type of resort, and just in an entire week in my life. It was the best food week I've ever had. And in regards to VIPASSANA, the food was absolutely amazing as well. A little bit more on the simple side. It is vegan and vegetarian only, so I was a little bit in heaven there, especially when they set out vegan brownies for me. So yes, you're eating fun food while you're there as well. All healthy, all delicious. In both of these places, you're only eating 2 meals a day, I wanted to tell you. So in the days that you are taking part in the ayahuasca ceremonies, which is 4 of the days of your time at Rythmia, you will only be eating breakfast and lunch. And that is just to better have a clear body. Like I mentioned, it's all about Mother Ayahuasca being able to get in there as fast as she can. And in regards to VIPASSANA, so you are only eating 2 meals per day and a light and fruit in the evening if it's your first time there. I'm not gonna lie, I went to bed hungry. I had that sense of hunger, but that's part of the journey there, is that you sit with yourself, you feel these emotions and feelings come up, and these wants and what you're feeling like as a need come up, and you just learn to accept the moment as it is and accept where exactly you are in that. So in both of these places, I lost weight. And I just wanted to tell you guys that if you're someone who can't afford to lose any more weight or might be some type of medical issue, that would be something I would bring up beforehand, because in both of these places, I wasn't really exercising. I was taking little walks, but for the most part, I was learning and sitting. And at Rythmia, you do yoga and meditation, so there is movement there. But for example, at VIPASSANA, you are just sitting and you're advised not to take part in yoga, not to take part in any type of like intense physical activity. So the most I was doing was walking around for like 10-15 minutes a day when I had a break. So I do think that I lost some muscle, which I'm working on now back at the gym. Speaking of just like how I felt in my body and what happened to my body after I left both of these places, because I was eating so clean and so abundantly, even if it wasn't that much like at VIPASSANA, I left with only the desire to feed my body with those vibrant foods. I had no desire to eat anything processed. My eating habits are healthier than they've ever been, and I feel better than I've ever been, and I have no desire to put that into my body. So post ayahuasca, I didn't drink or have coffee, I believe, for 2 weeks after. That's what they advised you to do, and so I stuck with that. Post VIPASSANA, yes, I drink coffee and have like caffeinated teas from time to time, but you guys, I have no desire to drink alcohol. It's just not appealing to me. I have had a couple drinks since VIPASSANA, which was over a month ago now. So I've had 3 drinks. I've had a glass of wine and I've had 2 beer. And these were like in separate occasions. So it's interesting. And these were occasions that were like social settings, and I was like catching up with friends. Especially after living in Italy, I have a desire for like the taste of wine and how it pairs well with food. And I do enjoy the taste of beer, but I have no desire to have more than 1 glass of it. And I don't have a desire to have it on any type of regular basis. So these are just interesting observations that I had within myself. I love myself so much more when I'm not drinking. I'm so much more clear headspace, as well as, like I said, I've carried these vibrant eating habits with me. And I just feel so much more open to my intuition, open to spirit, you know, my higher self, guidance. I just feel better than I've ever felt before. So both of these retreats served me in such a beautiful way and encompassed all things. Allowed my spiritual self to grow, allowed my self-love to grow, allowed me to just grow and bloom and flourish, and that's why I wanted to share it with you today. And lastly, I just want to touch on the cost of these places. So of course, you're going to have to fly to both of these locations to do the retreats wherever they are, if you're not in the vicinity that's driving distance. So Rythmia is in Costa Rica, and the closest airport to Rythmia is Liberia, and they actually have a shuttle that comes and picks you up and drives you about the 1.5 to 2 hours, I believe it is, to get to the resort, which is luxurious, beautiful, very comfortable, just a little piece of heaven. And in regards to VIPASSANA, where I attended in Joshua Tree, so when you do sign up for VIPASSANA, you have access to sign up for like a carpool. So that's what I did, and I went from San Diego to Joshua Tree, which I believe it was like a 3-hour drive, a 3.5-hour drive it took us. Sights wise, mine was blown. It was beautiful. But like I mentioned, VIPASSANA is all around the world. So there are different retreats wherever you want to go. In regards to the week itself, Rythmia, the price definitely differs depending on which spiritual leader is going to be there conducting courses and seminars throughout the week. So the link will be down below if you want to inquire about a week that works best for you, or the week of October 6th with me. I would love to go there with you and meet you there. And in regards to VIPASSANA, it is actually free. Just one more reason why you should attend if you can take 10 days time. When you finish VIPASSANA, you can choose to donate however much you feel the experience was worth for you, or however much you can give. I, for example, donated some money, but I'm also going to be volunteering because VIPASSANA operates solely on volunteers and donations. It is completely amazing to see how much they have built for you. I mean, it was not luxury, let's say, but it was absolutely beautiful, and I love to live very minimally. Like, for example, I shared a room with one other beautiful girl, and we had like separate almost like little bunks on the side of our bed, a bedside table, a space to hang our clothes, and a curtain over our bed. So it was all that you need when you're meditating for 12 hours a day and sleeping for like not very much time. But it was perfect for what it was. So like I said, I'm planning on going back and volunteering, not necessarily Joshua Tree. I'll probably do it in the most closest one to Toronto, but the donation that you give at the end can be whatever you feel you want to give. Like, I felt it was so transformative to me, and I love what they're doing that I want to be a part of it physically. And I have the intention of volunteering. As I told you guys, it's part of my New Year's goals, is to spend at least a week volunteering in something each year. So if you guys have any more questions, leave them down below and I will do my best to answer them all. But I hope that this video was informative to you and helping you make the decision, or helping you better prepare for either of these retreats. And I'm curious, which one do you think you are drawn to more, if any of them? I would love to know. And I'll see you guys again very soon. Bye.